I am from a very small town called Port Perry, Ontario, Canada, which is about 45 minutes northeast of Toronto, and it's just over about 4 hours from the Quebec border. Well, Port Perry is cottage country for the people of Toronto, and so in the summers it's really busy, and in the winters it's pretty quiet. But at the same time, we're not just a hub for the big city, we're also a hub for the neighboring regions, so like Uxbridge, Peterborough, Kawartha Lakes. The town's only like 2,000 or 3,000, but you can go in and not recognize a single person because there's a whole bunch of people coming just to visit or pick up things that they need before they go home. I guess I started running in the 9th grade, and from then on I just kind of took off. I ran all the way into the World Youth Championship final and World Junior Championship heat section. I was the Canadian champion 3 times and the Canadian silver medalist once. I'd never been to the Czech Republic or Poland before competing there for track, and my total lesson from traveling there was no matter what the country looks like, the people are almost always great. Surprisingly, even my anthropology professors sometimes have said, well, it can't all be that different, you just cross the border. And they're like, yeah, you just live in little USA anyway, and they're totally wrong. It's so much different up there. So I'm starting to realize the flaws in Canada and what I love about it, and compare it to what I love and hate about the US, especially living in the South. There are 2 things that I noticed immediately, probably from 5 minutes within crossing the border. As soon as we sat down in a restaurant, turn around, everything is sports and none of it is hockey. That was the weirdest thing, but there's just such a huge culture around sports, and being an athlete, I was like, all right, I'm accepted here, and I was really excited about that because for the most part, whenever you run, you get a whole bunch of taunts and jeers back home in here. Like, somebody rolled down their window the first time I think I was running in Winston-Salem alone, and I was like, oh, here it comes, wait for it. The guy goes, nice work. I was like, what? What? That's your best? That's the best you've got for me? The second, though, is what comes in between the sports coverage, and that is the media. Oh my God, whoa, commercials, everything here is so scary. I mean, it was just so negative and fear-based, and it scares me still sometimes that like you can get away with that. That's one of the big issues, I think, is here, media and technology-wise, you guys are years ahead, but because of the tie of religion to politics, I think there's a very heavy need to still rationalize decisions based on sexual orientation and race. I grew up and some of my friends, they had gay parents, and that was just fine. Like, you go over and say hi to their dads, and if one of them wanted to be, which one, dad 1, dad 2, or you could call them by your names, and that was fine. And it was normal for me. And having people literally hide for years because they're afraid to be unaccepted, that just blows me away. I think most of the hate crime in Canada is based around race, really. There's still a huge racism issue that's bigger than here, although we would never admit it. There's a lot of issues based around that, and while there still are hate crimes against gays, there's a lot bigger and a lot more openly accepted and outspoken population. So that was one thing that really got me. I actually had a pretty big, like everybody did, where I grew up, I had a pretty big prejudice against the USA. My perception has definitely changed. Of course, it changed pretty fast after I came down here. I met a lot of really cool people. And I really liked everybody that I came in contact with here for the first year. I love where I came from. And I love the country. While we do have our problems, and we're not perfect, there's a lot of things about it that you can't replicate here. Just like there's a lot of things about the USA that we will never be able to replicate, mostly because of the snow.